If your job involves you working as a part of a team, then here's a 5-step framework that you can use to evaluate your team and where they're at, and to help make sure that they're firing on all cylinders moving forward. So here's each of the 5 stages of this framework. First, teams go through the forming stage. This is where team members are getting added, projects just getting started, and things are starting to come together. The second stage is the storming stage. This is where the team may start working on items, but they'll have conflict, maybe some friction, and they're starting to gel and just kind of get to know each other so that they can start to get to a point where they're progressing into the next stage. The next team stage is the norming stage. This is where the team is starting to solve conflict. They're delivering, but they're not quite delivering everything that they need to be delivering. The fourth stage of the framework is the performing stage. Now, the performing stage is the goal stage. That's where you want to get your team and where you want to stay as you're working on the project. So this is when the team's firing on all cylinders. There's a lot of team synergy. Everybody's getting along, and things are being completed either on time or a little bit early. The fifth and final stage is the adjourning stage. And this is where the project wraps up, team members get pulled off, and you move on to the next project. It's important to note that before you start evaluating which one of these stages your team is in, that you come up with clear criteria of what each one of the stages means to you and your team. So I used to sit down with my teams and we would run through, what does the forming stage actually mean? We would create a definition for our team of forming, storming, norming, performing, and then adjourning. And I found that that was super helpful because then as we were evaluating things periodically through our retrospectives, we knew what criteria we were holding ourselves accountable to for each stage so that we could clearly identify the stage we were in. And the final thing that you need to keep in mind with the forming, storming, norming, performing framework, or FSNP, is that teams tend to move around into their stages. Like I mentioned, you may be delivering in the performing stage and things are going well, but then you start to have conflict amongst the teams, team members are fighting, maybe stakeholders adjust scope, and it causes you to kind of fall back into a different stage. You may go into the storming stage as you try to reevaluate and address what you need to do. Or sometimes performing teams find themselves getting into a rut and not fully delivering at the capacity that they know that they can deliver, and so they get bumped into the norming stage. But the important thing is that you meet as a team and evaluate which stage you're in and be cognizant of your goal of getting to the performing stage. So I highly recommend that you use the forming, storming, norming, performing framework with your teams. Give it a try and let me know what you think in the comments below.
And please follow me.